everyone, it's Eileen coming at you from Just Kettlebells. And so I'm going to do today a review of the double bell work that we've been doing in the AM class. Now, some of the people in the AM class have not done any double bell work, so I was a little nervous about teaching them, but everyone did great, because we're doing it over Zoom. And so I just wanted to review we have so many variations that we learned with double bell work. And so I want to just go over what we learned and then a couple of tips to remember for when you're working with double bells. So first we're going to do the ballistics, and we're going to start with the swing. And so basically with the ballistics, the main difference between a single bell and double bell is that you need a wider stance. And what that's going to mean is that this is going to rob some of my power in my hinge coming back because I'm going to be wider. So I won't be able to come back as far. So that means I need to power the backswing more. And what I mean by that is, where normally you just let the bells float and kick them back up, when you're doing double bell work, you're gonna, when they come to about here, you're really gonna push them through and pop them up. One, because it's heavier, and two, because of what I just talked about, losing some of that power. So, so here are the moves that we learned, and some of them are different. That we haven't even learned them in single bells, but some of them are easier to learn in double bells. So here's our swing, here's our clean, and when we learn with the clean, when you have double bells, it's a lot more core power, and then we talked about that trigger, pulling the bells back towards you with your elbows. We also learned pulls. We didn't do a lot of them, but so pulls, you can be low pull, medium pull, high pull. We learned the snatches, which is a little bit different, they're more like half snatches because we're going to clean in between. So we're going to snatch and then rack it. We're not going to clean in between. You rack them in between and then start again. And when we did the snatches, we either started in this rack position or we did a pre-swing. I didn't have anybody snatch from the floor. Then we learned two more overhead moves, which was the push press and then the jerk, which honestly I was so impressed. The jerk is technically one of the most difficult moves, but a lot of the AM class people really got it the first time, so I was very impressed by that. Next, I'm going to move us to the grinds that we learned, which, the difference between ballistic work and grind work is ballistic work, you're popping tension really fast. And in grind work, you're trying to keep tension all the way through the movement. So we learned, we took our rows to double bell. And so we learned double bell rows. We also moved them up to here, hanging rows. And then we learned how to alternate them as well. We learned, or took our deadlifts to double bell deadlifts. We also learned how to alternate those as well. I'm sorry, I was doing rows. We learned how to alternate the deadlifts as well, which is really nice for keeping even shoulders. Next, we learned squat, double bell squat, which really is just about keeping, the thing I like to remember in a double bell squat is really getting the hips engaged with your glutes and then really tightening the core before you descend. Because with two bells in the front, it's going to try and pull you forward more. So you want to try and correct this hip posture here and then descend down and up. We also did, of course, double bell presses, and so the difference here is we're not going to come into one side like when we single bell press. We're going to have more of an even stance in double bell press. And for a lot of folks, this double bell overhead can be tough. We see the arm starting to bend or the bell's coming forward because of shoulder mobility issues. And so if you don't have a double bell overhead press, a seesaw press is really a nice alternative until you can work up that double bell overhead position. Then we did a lot of double bell lunges. When we came down, we either did the back or front. But again, that's a nice motion. We even did just rack hold and knee lifts, which is another nice position. Just putting her down for a second. They get heavy after a while, even though I'm using light ones. I have two more. We did a long press, which is basically in dumbbell work, like a dumbbell thruster, where you're going to squat to press and then come back to clean. You could also work this in and kind of long cycle it where you come down with the bells. And then lastly, I'm not going to do this with the bell, we learned double bell Turkish get-up, which is a very difficult move. We did a few modifications, and most of us didn't use bells. And so I'm going to do it from the side so you can see. It really demands this being able to have this double arm overhead mobility. And so we actually practiced pressing in each of the positions that we're in for the double bell get-up. So in a double bell get-up, you're going to be using no hands. So you have bells in each hand, you're going to press them up. You're going to come up here. So if you don't have this position, then this isn't for you. We tuck our legs to the side. We come up to tall leaning. I'm just going to turn around so you can see the front. That's not part of the move. And then you come up like a regular press. But see here, we're doing this all without that extra hand and with double weight here. So it really is technically a difficult move. Now here, when we get back to this position, you want to bring the bells back down so we can roll safely down. When we didn't have bells, we could roll back. So if you're just practicing the movement, you can roll back and then come down. But if you have bells in your hands, it is really much safer to come down here and then hollow out and roll back. So I think I hit everything on my board. We did a lot of work, so I hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions, send me a message, and we're going to be doing some double bell work in our next session, but mostly we're going to kind of come back to basics with two-hand swings and one-hand Turkish get-up. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you soon.